I wanted to highlight a few aspects about the community that the Prophet set up in Medina, because that community was very unique. If you think about when the Prophet migrated, he migrated in the early days of Rabiul Awwal. On the 27th of Rabiul Awwal is the date when Imam Ali alayhi salam and Sayyidah Fatima Zahra joined the Prophet and they entered Medina. So the Prophet migrated several days earlier. So what happened between early Rabiul Awwal and end of Rabiul Awwal is this. First of all, we all know the event of the night of the migration, when Imam Ali alayhi salam slept in the bed of the Prophet. After that, the Prophet stayed in the cave Sawr for 2 to 3 days. The cave in which the companion was complaining, the companion was crying, and the Prophet was saying, "Do not be afraid, Allah will protect us." After that, the Prophet had left Imam Ali alayhi salam in Makkah for certain reasons. One was to return all the amanat, the responsibilities that the Prophet had, and also to complete all of his affairs that were remaining in Makkah. And then to bring all the women to Medina. So the Prophet did not enter Medina after traveling for 8 days, 3 days in Sawr, 8 days in a place named Kaaba, where he built the mosque named Quba. So when you go for Umrah, inshallah, there is this mosque named Masjid al-Quba. That is the first mosque in Islam which is outside Medina. Before entering the Medina, Prophet built that mosque. As that mosque was being built, Prophet used to watch on the road, where is Ali? Where is Ali? Where is Fatima? Because the family hadn't come. The Prophet was worried for them. And when Imam Ali alayhi salam was coming back from Makkah, he did not take the route that the Prophet had taken. He took the main route. And the kuffar, when they realized that the Prophet had left and Imam Ali was taking the women, they attacked Imam Ali alayhi salam and said, "You give back the women." Imam Ali alayhi salam, at that point, when he was very young, he took the women from the main road as a source of his bravery, as a testament of his bravery, and he encountered these kuffar and still managed to defeat them and took the women to Medina. So when the Prophet entered Medina on the 27th of Rabiul Awwal, that will be tomorrow, it was an amazing time. It was like things had totally changed. And this is really interesting also, and an interesting story, that 2 years ago when we came to this place for the first time, that is Zainab, it was also the 27th of Rabiul Awwal. So it's been 2 years according to Islamic calendar in this place. So when that happened, the Prophet came to a city which was very diluted. There were a lot of conflicts. There were different types of people over there. There were Jewish people, and we talked about why Jews were there before. They were waiting for the Prophet according to their own narrations. And there were Aus and Khazraj, the kuffar. There were other people who were in there, and they used to continuously infight. They were not a cohesive framework. They were not a cohesive community. So within a period of 8 years, from the time of migration till the conquest of Makkah, and in the second year it was the Battle of Badr. In the Battle of Badr, there were 330 Muslims, helpless Muslims, some of them with sticks, not even full, all of them having swords or horses. From that time to entering Makkah as conquerors with 20,000, 30,000 people in 7 years, what did the Prophet do? How was the Prophet able to change this diverse community, these small group of people, into something that was totally unimaginable? And this is an important point when we think about this, especially in the context of the times that we're living in, that we need to understand that if we have the right niyyah and we continue to work hard with the right niyyah, Allah will bless us. Allah will bless things that we cannot even imagine. But if the niyyah is not right, then whatever training is there, whatever framework has been defined, it will be lost. For example, when the niyyah was right, the Prophet within 1 year was able to defeat the kuffar and in the battle of Badr. Because of that, people started noticing this state, this Islamic state, this small city is becoming something which is worth noticing. But before that, they were ignoring. They were like, who are these people? They just migrated. What are they going to do? So, and then within 8 to 10 years, the Prophet changed the complexion of the place. But when the niyyah changed, when the people started thinking differently, when they ignored the order of the Prophet, when they did not give the right of Imam Ali alayhi salam rightfully that was his, even though the framework that the Prophet had laid, it worked and Muslims were successful materialistically, but even according to the 90% of Muslims, they say that after the first 4 Khilafats and the 6 months of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, the period of Rashidun has ended. The good period has ended. And then there was a lot of mulukiyat and badshahat and kingship, not the period of righteousness. Which means that the niyyah is very important. If we have the right niyyah, then we can truly transform things in a very short period of time. Not ourselves, but Allah's help will come. The second thing I want to say, what I'm going to lay out are some of the insights that I've gathered from the Quran and from how the Prophet laid the foundation of the community.